this is Terry and welcome back to my channel. And welcome all new subscribers, and sorry for the mess, but we've been having storms and I just realized that this mess is not my doing. This is what it looks like fall, don't it? All the leaves are just coming down, all in my plants. But what I'm talking about today is a topic that has been discussed a lot recently by me and other YouTubers, and it's talking about a wish list. And I want to go through and show my wish list, the plants that I have, and that's it. So first of all, I have my tropical corner here that you know that I made such a fuss over and made such a production over. And I just got it this week. And here it is over here, sitting under the protection of the awning here. You know, I just got this from Sam's Girl. It is not putting out any new growths that I can see. And even if it were, I would still leave it under here protected, as I am doing with a lot of my bifoliates. So anyway, that's my tropical corner. It gets beautiful flowers. I will put a picture up. Next is my Epidendrum Coilistylis now. Formerly Epidendrum, this is Coilistylis parkinsonianum. Did bloom for me beautifully this winter in the greenhouse going into spring. And you can see it's put up multiple growths, which elongate and continue to grow. And then, if I'm lucky enough, I will get another set of blooms. This plant is from Mexico and probably some other areas, more cooler areas of Mexico, but it can take a wide variety of temperatures. But again, it is subjected to, in its native environment, to a period of cooling, and also they get some cool mists in the wintertime, and when it's a little bit of a drier rest. And I don't know why my video is doing this little jerky motion, because I'm standing straight still. Let me see if I stop this. Yeah, see, it's still doing that jerky motion. So sorry for that. I may have to do something. But this is a beautiful species. Gets white with a tinge of chartreuse in the lip, fragrant at night. Mine this year, it really was not so fragrant. I'm really enjoying those root tips. As you can see, they're pinkish in the light, all the way down. So yeah, that's Coilistylis parkinsonianum, a bucket list plant for me. Grows in the, it's a little cooler of a rest. Still not quite a rest. It still gets occasional water and mists every day. So then my next one is Predator Tigrina. And my Predator Tigrina is right here. And this again is the same kind of culture as Epidendrum parkinsonianum. These Stanhopes like it in the shade mostly all year round. They like shade. In the summer when they're growing, or whenever they're in growth, they like copious amounts of water. Like every time you look at them, they want water, because that will make sure that their pseudobulbs are plump and fat by the time that they're approaching maturity. And really, the more pseudobulbs that you can get them to mature and plumpen up, that will almost surely guarantee a lot of blooms. And these blooms are very big and full and patterned and dark and scary and dragon-like, but fragrant of cinnamon, spice. Long, short-lasting flowers, only a couple of days. But on these plants, sometimes you can get multiple spikes. The spikes are pendant down, which is why they are planted or mounted up, potted up in a basket that has It's just a net pot, really. So I'm gonna have to deal with that at some point, but this is Predator Tigrina, which is a clone, a prized clone, bigger flower than just a regular Tigrina. And again, I will post a picture. I have bloomed Tigrina, but I have not bloomed Predator. Okay, and next we have Dendrobium alexandrae, spectabile, and Nishi. Adorable Nishi. Adora Nishi. Here's alexandrae right here. Latoria dendrobium. Of course, I've talked so much about this plant with its sword-like lip. Spectabile right here, the same. These are like cousins and often are confused, often grouped together in the same genus, or the same species, I'm sorry. So, often confused. And this would be Adora Nishi, which is the hybrid of the two, spectabile and alexandrae. Like all Latorias, or most Latorias, they like year-round water. A little bit less after their new canes have been matured. They like it in dappled shade, a little bit more in the winter, but they like warm conditions. And they don't like their media, their roots, to be sitting in stale media. They want to be in a free-draining material. These are somewhat lithophilic at times, but because they get lots of water, they are susceptible to rot and are always in need of their media being replenished. So anyway, that's the next thing on my list. And then I have Bulbo Medusa, which I have struggled with. I've never bloomed a Medusa, but I'm never gonna give up. The current Medusa I have now is a good, nice division that I got recently, and it's taking its time getting acclimated to my environment. You can see some of the pseudobulbs are shriveled up. I have it in a bark and sphagnum mixture, and just have it outside here while I can. Medusa is more of an intermediate growing Bulbophyllum, not necessarily hot. I don't think it actually likes the heat. Prefers intermediate, as I said, but gets those beautiful pendant spikes with the long string dangly looking spidery blooms. I think they might even have some fragrance to them, probably a musk fragrance. It's not an unpleasant fragrance, but this is my Medusa, a bucket list plant. Then I have my Phalaenopsis Gigantia right here. Which is, of course, a bucket list plant for most people. I am lucky that I have had the pleasure of having a couple in my collection. And they are wonderful plants, the largest of the Phalaenopsis. They like more sun and more moisture than most Phalaenopsis, and they bloom from ever-blooming spikes, generally towards the end of the growth season, fall and winter. Fragrant flowers, very slow-growing plant, but for this one, for me, it's putting on lots of growth. It's grown a lot since I've got this. And then I've got Aeranthes Grandiflora, which I have two. I have one right here. And these both have never bloomed for me, although I've had bloomed this plant before in the past, and I know that this one is bloom-sized. It has given me a lot of growth this summer. It has given me some new fans. I'm really expecting it to spike soon. I really was expecting it already to be spiking, but it gets more sun in the winter, less in the summer, but warm, dappled sun. I bought it outside, and it got some good moisture, year-round moisture, and Madagascar, South African species. Then I've got my Eria javanica right here, which is a species that I've had for many years. I mounted it up on this piece of cork, this huge piece of cork, several years back, and it's steadily grown back up to where it looks like it is getting to be bloom size. It had bloomed when I got it, but it has probably been on this for close to 10 years, I would say, at least 7. And you can see the latest pseudobulbs, or the latest growths, are healthier than the past. Now these, and here's another one over here that actually is maturing, and so they do bloom from their newly matured pseudobulbs. They get long growths, that long inflorescent that has star-shaped flowers along the cane, along the stem of the inflorescent, and they are fragrant, white little star-shaped flowers, very sweetly fragrant. So with all the new growths, I'm hoping one of these days it's going to bloom. It is, because it is slowly getting there. I mean, you can see how the bulbs have progressed in size. That is Eria javanica. Then I've got my Dendrobium Lacientera, which these are very difficult, and I am lucky to even have it. Fortunately, the one that I have still has a growth on it, and it might actually be putting on another growth. I have it sort of in a semi-hydro situation. This is a New Guinea dendrobium as well, but this is an antelope type that is accustomed to a lot of light, heat, and water. They generally grow over the streams in their native environment, and they reward you with beautiful flowers that are just colorful reds and blues, but big, huge plant. Canes can be 10 feet tall, so you got to have a lot of room for this one, and it's very difficult to grow in cultivation because of the size and just because of its requirements. But so, and you can see how mine is a struggle, but I keep at it. Okay, the next on my list here is my Brassavola crazy Arachno, and I just mounted and just got my crazy Arachno right here. Crazy Arachno is a cross. Actually, I might see some roots in it, but that might be a stem. I am hoping that these recover, even though they look a little brown, but there's some canes and some pseudobulbs in there. This is a cross, and it's, I can't remember what it is, but I'll put the name of it. That is a Bursavala. Then I've got Bursavala Perenni, which is right there. That is my favorite, and it is in spike. And it is mounted just on this inorganic piece of plastic, covered in roots, putting out new growths. So, pure white flower with a yellow throat, and these can bloom off of previously bloomed pseudobulbs, or from previously bloomed sheaths, which I don't think any other Brassavola has that characteristic or that capability to do, but perrinii, which makes it why it is a bucket list plant for me. They like wet, dry cycle, lots of water when they're growing, but they want to dry out by nightfall. So, but when they're growing, they want copious amounts. That continues to fuel the plant and have it produce many growths, and then you'll get many blooms. Looks like there's another spike developing right here. Yep. So, like I said, and you have to keep watering them, make sure they're dry, and make sure those stalks don't dry up. And like I said, they're fragrant. Then I have Trichocentrum Splendidum, which is right here, and it has also been a struggle for me, but I collect oncidiums or Trichocentrums, formerly oncidiums, and so this is the one that I have now. It spiked. I actually bought it in spike and it blasted, but it put up this new growth, which is really big, and so I'm hoping that that will do well. This is, I think it's a Mexican species as well, from more of an intermediate mountainous or hilly climate, where it gets cooler in the winter, drier, but still likes high light and high humidity, which is why it has a lot of sphagnum around it. They like moisture when they're growing especially. Then I have my Phalaenopsis cornu-cervi, which I'll have to add on after because it's in the greenhouse. Then I've got, in here I've got my Dimorphorchis lowii right here, which I believe Dimorphorchis lowii is from Madagascar, I think, or Borneo, it's Borneo. And Dimorphorchis lowii, there's a tag over there. And very valuable, slow-growing species, Vanda type, but they do bloom small. It's its own separate genus. It consists of 2 species, and it's so special because when it gets bloom size, this can bloom, has 2 different color flowers on it, and they're spotted, and one of them is fragrant, but that's unusual, and the inflorescence is actually very much like rubbery and malleable. You can twist and turn it and it won't break. But these are slow growing, not for me. I mean, I've had good luck with it so far, fingers crossed, but that is a choice plant. And I'll just move on. I'll put a picture of what it looks like, of course. And the next one is my Cimbadella right here, which is beautiful plant. I did bloom it once. I just got this plant, but it is blooming beautifully. These are from Madagascar, and I'll just show you the tag. Medium water, winter water temperatures, warm, intermediate, light, bright. They like water year-round. And this one is doing very well for me. So this will sit where it's hot and will get good light and humidity. Then I've got my Angraecum Longicalcar, which I have it right there. I don't want to pull it out, but it's mounted on that piece of ceramic. And then I've got the rest of the little combo pot in here. Longicalcar. Longicalcar is in the Angraecoids alliance. Of course, it's an Angraecum. It is a variety of Viburnum, which is large. Longicalcar has the longest spur of any orchid and is a very huge orchid. But because of the spur and because of the length of the spur, it's very special, and so it's a bucket list plant. And I'll show you pictures of it for sure. It likes, again, it likes a little bit on the cooler side, but it likes the light, it likes the humidity, it likes the moisture. Does not want to dry out. But you see, I have it in shade. I will have it keep it in shade in the summer, more light in the winter, but still watering and misting the aerial roots. Then I have Encyclia Roofa, which my Roofa is hanging up here. Really nice sized Roofa, hard to find and expensive when you find one. These are notoriously fragrant. There's a tag, and I just have it in this, in this basket. It's basically bare root, and it gave me a couple growths this year, no spikes. Hopefully one day I will get it. It's a yellow flower, very, very substanced, heavily substanced, and anyway, hope to see it. These will get less, like I said, in the winter, a little bit cooler as well, but water still and high humidity and light. Then I've got Cattleya irrecolor, which I think I've talked about so much, and this was on my original bucket list, and I finally got one from Ecuador right back here. Big plant. It's reputedly the most fragrant Cattleya And the color of it is supposed to be really beautiful, kind of white, almost transparent, maybe some color in the sheath and the lip, but that's a bucket list plant. And my other bucket list plants, which are Phalaenopsis stonii, and then there's Phalaenopsis marii, as well as my foul cornu-cervi. They're in the greenhouse. So I will come back and I'll be in the greenhouse to show you those last three. Okay, everyone, and I'm back here in the greenhouse and back in the presence of bucket list plant. And this is the before mentioned cornu-cervi. This is the species. And I've got many other cornu-cervis here. Cornu-cervis like moisture. You can see they're sitting in moisture. Not the ones that have been repotted, but they are in this. They do occasionally get the water that sits in the tray there and provides them a little extra humidity, and also they wick it up. Although those are sitting in pots, so I can't even really say that. But when I first get the plants, they do spend a time in these pots with water in them, just to fortify their roots and to make sure that they are well hydrated. Because the one thing that you want to do to make sure, if you can, it's pretty difficult, is you want to make sure that these inflorescence stay green. Unlike that one, you want to make sure they do, because they will always be capable of branching and blooming, most often towards the fall, winter, early spring. But for me this year, mine have just not stopped blooming from spring to summer. I mean, they have stopped periodically, but they've just picked it right back up again. These, I believe, are from, I don't want to guess, I want to say Borneo, maybe the Philippines. I can't say, I don't want to guess, but they like good light, they like high humidity, and good moisture year round. They don't want to dry out too long. Okay, so the next one was marii, and my marii is, I have two mariis. This is my main marii right here, and you can see again, it is the same type of plant. It stays green as long as you are providing it with good light, water, humidity. Now marii does like more moisture than most Phalaenopsis. I really should add more moss, or some cocoa husk would be better. But I'm out of that Phalaenopsis mix, but I am going to order some today, because I need to get some cocoa husk and I need Phalaenopsis mix. Although this really does not need to be repotted, because it's in big bark and it is growing. But like I was saying, it begins sort of its cycle of blooms towards the end of the growing season, where you will begin to see like the tips or the side growths just begin to grow, along with the root tips starting to become more active. I'm not sure where Phalaenopsis marii is. It is very fragrant, and I love it. It's striped, very vivid red, fuchsia color. Like I said, I love it. And then the other that I have that is my favorite is, why am I not thinking? Okay, let me think. I said cornu-cervi, and then I said what? And as I'm saying it, I'm looking to see, and of course I'm not, where's my list at? It's out in the other room. Okay, there's marii, cornu-cervi, marii. There's another marii there. Oh, I know. Stonii. Path stonii is a bucket list plant, and I am very pleased to show this to you. Path stonii, right here, a species. These are from, gosh, I don't know. I think they're from somewhere in Asia. Philippines maybe, but China. But they are one of those that are on limestone cliffs, and I really need to get some oyster shell, egg shell, something to provide extra lime, slow release. I could even put some dehydroxylated, the lime, and then just make a paste and then put it on. That will slow release as you water it. But stony eye are reputedly slow growing, but the reason I love stony eye is because it is so funky and it doesn't open wide. It's just wonky, and I love it. And it's pure, it's white with simple striping, but this has new growths, 2 new growths in fact, and it did bloom for me really nice. And that is a bucket list plant. In fact, this is my Mount Toro, which is not looking so hot, probably because of the heat and the sun, but it has half of stony eye in it, and it definitely is stony eye. The top from the hood there, dorsal sepal, I guess, is that what it is, with the stripes, the white, down to that top of where the petals go from left to right. That is totally stony eye. In the back, that stony eye. So that would complete my bucket list plants that I have in my possession, that I can remember off the top of my head, that are not dead. I mean, there's a bucket list plant right there, my Illins, but it's dead. And anyway, folks, hope that explains more of what my list entails. Not the list that I don't have, but the ones that I do have. And this is definitely one. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your orchids.